I've always had a taste for women like you now. I could spend all night just tasting that exoticness.
Black girl texted her best friend in a wrong date. Sent to wrong number. Korean Mafia boss replied.
This date is over, and I'm here to take her.
I'm coming to get you. Maya, this date is a disaster. He keeps touching me and won't stop talking about exotic women. I'm at Astoria on 5th. Need an excuse to leave ASAP. Zara hit send and slipped her phone under the table, exhaling with relief. The bathroom excuse hadn't worked. Her date's hand was back on her knee, sliding higher. Her phone buzzed. She glanced down, expecting Maya's rescue plan. Instead, I'm not Maya. Who's making you uncomfortable? I'm coming to get you. Stay in public view. 10 minutes. Zara's heart stopped. Wrong number. She texted a complete stranger. Her date leaned forward. Who's that? You shouldn't be on your phone when I'm talking. Before she could respond, the restaurant door opened. Every employee suddenly stood straighter as a Korean man in a perfectly tailored suit entered. His eyes scanned the room, stopping when they found hers. He walked directly to their table. I believe, he said in a voice that made the air feel electric. This date is over. 15 minutes earlier, Zara had been trying to remember why she'd agreed to this date in the first place. Evan had seemed normal at the networking event last week. Successful marketing executive. Decent conversation. Nice smile. But 10 minutes into dinner at Astoria, one of the most exclusive restaurants in the city, she'd realized her mistake. You know, I don't usually date black women, Evan said, swirling his whiskey. But you're different. More sophisticated. Zara's smile froze on her face. The delicate gold hoops in her ears suddenly felt heavy. She'd spent an hour on her twist out, her natural curls framing her face perfectly. She'd worn her favorite dress, a deep burgundy that complemented her dark brown skin. She'd felt beautiful walking in. Now she felt like a specimen. Different how? The words came out tight. You know. Evan gestured vaguely at her. You're articulate, professional, not like what most people would expect. Each word landed like a slap. Zara placed her water glass down carefully. And what would most people expect, Evan? He didn't catch her tone. You know what I mean. Plus your hair is... His hand reached toward her curls. Zara leaned back. Please don't touch my hair. Why not? I'm curious. Is it real? That's not appropriate to ask. Evan laughed. Come on, don't be so sensitive. I'm complimenting you. His hand landed on her knee under the table, fingers pressing into her skin. You should be flattered I'm interested. I could be with anyone here. Zara looked around the upscale restaurant with its crystal chandeliers and white tablecloths. The other diners were engrossed in their own conversations. The waitstaff moved silently, appearing and disappearing like ghosts. No one was paying attention to her discomfort. I need to use the restroom, she said, already reaching for her purse. Evan's hand tightened on her knee. We just ordered. The food will be here any minute. I'll be quick. You're being rude, Zara. His voice dropped lower, his smile never reaching his eyes. I went to a lot of trouble to get reservations here. Do you know how hard it is to get a table at Astoria? You can wait. The bathroom was just past the bar. If she could get there, she could text Maya and figure out an escape plan. But Evan's grip was firm, his eyes challenging her to make a scene. That's when she'd reached for her phone under the table. Now, with the mysterious Korean man standing at their table, Evan's hand finally released her knee. The entire restaurant had gone quiet, conversations suspended mid-sentence. Even the kitchen sounds seemed muted. Excuse me? Evan's voice was indignant, but there was an undercurrent of uncertainty. We're in the middle of dinner. Who the hell are you? The man didn't look at Evan. His eyes were on Zara, dark and assessing. Are you ready to leave? Up close, Zara could see that his suit was bespoke, probably custom-made in Seoul or Tokyo. His face was striking rather than conventionally handsome, with high cheekbones and a strong jaw. His hair was styled perfectly, not a strand out of place. Everything about him radiated control and authority. She's not going anywhere. Evan stood up, trying to use his height advantage. He was tall, at least 6 feet, but somehow the Korean man made him seem smaller. This is a private dinner. You need to leave. The stranger finally turned to look at Evan, his expression impassive. Sit down. Just 2 words, spoken softly, but Evan sank back into his chair like his knees had given out. The man turned back to Zara. My name is Jin-Ho Park. You texted me by mistake, but I'm glad you did. Would you like to leave? Or would you prefer I join you until you finish your meal? Zara found her voice. I'd like to leave. Jin-Ho nodded once and offered his hand. Zara took it, surprised by the warmth of his palm against hers. She stood, gathering her purse. You can't be serious, Evan spluttered. You're leaving with some random Asian guy who just walked in? Do you know him? Better than I know you, apparently, Zara replied, a strange calm settling over her. Something about Jin-Ho's presence made her feel safe, protected. Your bill is settled, Jin-Ho told Evan, still not raising his voice. Enjoy your meal alone, and don't contact her again. Or what? Evan challenged, but his voice wavered. Jin-Ho smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. You really don't want to find out. He guided Zara through the restaurant, his hand resting lightly on the small of her back. She noticed how the staff bowed their heads slightly as they passed. The maitre d' rushed to open the door for them, murmuring Mr. Park with deference that bordered on fear. Outside, the cool night air hit Zara's face, clearing some of the surreal fog from her mind. A sleek black car was idling at the curb, a broad-shouldered man in a suit standing beside it. He opened the back door as they approached. Zara hesitated. You don't have to get in, Jin-Ho said, removing his hand from her back. I can call you a car if you prefer. Zara looked at him. Who are you? Really? Someone who doesn't like seeing women cornered by men who don't take no for an answer. His expression softened slightly. I have a sister. If she were in your situation, I would want someone to help her. You just happened to be nearby when I texted a random wrong number? No, I was across town. But Astoria is. He paused. Familiar territory. The restaurant door opened behind them, and Zara glanced back to see Evan standing there, his face flushed with anger. She made her decision. I'll go with you, but I'm keeping my location shared with my friend. Jin-Ho nodded. Smart. The inside of the car was immaculate, all black leather and tinted windows. The driver pulled away from the curb smoothly as soon as they were settled. Where would you like to go? Jin-Ho asked. There's a coffee place near my apartment. The Night Owl. We can talk there. Jin-Ho relayed the instruction to his driver in Korean, then turned back to her. I apologize for the dramatic entrance. I wasn't sure of the situation. No, thank you. Really. Zara twisted her fingers in her lap. Evan was. He wasn't who I thought he was. Men rarely are. Women too, I suppose. That earned her a hint of a real smile. True. Zara pulled out her phone and texted Maya. Date was horrible. Some guy rescued me. Long story. I'm okay. Location shared. Call in 30 minutes. Her phone immediately rang. Maya's face appeared on the screen. I should take this, she told Jin-Ho. He nodded and looked away, giving her privacy. Zara? What the hell? Who rescued you? Where are you? Maya's voice was pitched high with worry. I'm okay. Promise. Evan was a creep. I tried to text you but hit the wrong number. Somehow this guy saw it and showed up. That sounds insane. You're in a car with a complete stranger? Have you lost your mind? He's right here, Maya. I've got my location shared with you. I'm fine. We're going to the Night Owl to talk. I'm meeting you there. 20 minutes. Okay. But don't freak out. Too late. Maya huffed. Stay on the phone with me until you get there. Zara looked over at Jin-Ho, who was politely staring out the window. Actually, I'm good. I'll see you there. Zara. 30 minutes, Maya. I promise. She hung up and turned to Jin-Ho. My friend is meeting us at the coffee shop. She's worried. As she should be. You don't know me. I know you got me away from Evan. Jin-Ho studied her. You're remarkably calm for someone who just left a restaurant with a stranger. I'm good at reading people. It's part of my job. And what is your job, Zara? He left the question hanging, asking for her last name. Williams. I'm a fashion designer. I have my own small label focused on sustainable materials and inclusive sizing. What about you, Jinho Park? I'm in family business management. Zara raised an eyebrow. That's vague. It's accurate. The car pulled up to the Night Owl, a trendy coffee shop with large windows and a warm glow spilling onto the sidewalk. The driver was immediately out and opening Zara's door. Thank you. She paused, not knowing his name. Minjun, Jinho supplied. He's my cousin. Minjun gave a small nod but didn't speak. Inside, the Night Owl was half full, the late evening crowd mostly students with laptops and couples in quiet conversation. Jinho guided her to a corner table with a good view of both the door and the street. What would you like? He asked as they sat down. Lavender latte. Jinho spoke quietly to Minjun, who went to the counter to order. Zara took the opportunity to really look at her rescuer. In the softer light of the coffee shop, he appeared younger than she'd first thought, probably early 30s. His presence still commanded attention, but there was something in his eyes that seemed almost vulnerable. So, she said, resting her elbows on the table, are you going to tell me who you really are and how the staff at one of the most exclusive restaurants in the city knew you by name? Jinho's mouth quirked. My family has interests in several businesses throughout the city. Restaurants, hotels, import-export. Interests, ownership stakes. Minjun returned with their drinks, her lavender latte, and what appeared to be a simple espresso for Jinho. He placed them on the table and then took up position at a nearby table, his back to the wall, eyes on the door. Is he your bodyguard or your cousin? Both. Zara wrapped her hands around her mug. So what kind of family business needs bodyguards? Jinho took a sip of his espresso before answering. A complicated one. You know, for someone who came to my rescue, you're not very forthcoming. Would you prefer I lied? I'd prefer honesty. Jinho set his cup down and leaned forward slightly. My family came to this country 25 years ago from South Korea. My father started with one restaurant and a gift shop. Now we have interests in dozens of businesses across the city. Not all of those interests are entirely transparent. Are you telling me you're in the Korean Mafia? Jinho's expression didn't change. That's a dramatic oversimplification, but there are aspects of our business that operate in gray areas. Zara sat back, absorbing this information. She should be frightened. She should get up and walk away, wait outside for Maya. Instead, she found herself curious. Why answer my text? Why come personally? Something flickered in Jinho's eyes. 3 years ago, my sister was on a date that went badly. She called me, but I was in a meeting. I didn't see the message until an hour later. His jaw tightened. By then, he had taken her to his apartment. She's okay now, but... He didn't finish the sentence. I'm sorry, Zara said softly. Since then, I don't ignore calls or texts from women in distress, even wrong numbers. Before Zara could respond, the door to the coffee shop opened, and Maya burst in, her eyes wild as they scanned the room. When she spotted Zara, relief washed over her face, quickly replaced by suspicion as she took in Jinho and Minjun. Maya marched over to their table. At 5'0", with her pink-tipped curls and round glasses, she didn't look intimidating, but Zara knew better. Maya was a corporate attorney who ate overconfident men for breakfast. Are you okay? Maya demanded, eyes locked on Zara. I'm fine. This is Jinho. Jinho, my best friend Maya. Jinho stood and offered his hand. Ms. Maya, would you like to join us? Maya ignored his hand. What exactly is going on here? Zara texts me saying some guy rescued her? From a date? Who are you? It's a fair question, Jinho acknowledged. Your friend accidentally texted me instead of you. She said she was uncomfortable and needed help leaving. I was in a position to assist. You just happened to be nearby? No, I came from across town. Maya's eyes narrowed. So you dropped everything to help a stranger? Yes. Why? Jinho glanced at Zara. I believe I've already explained my reasons to Zara. Maya turned to Zara. Well, Zara sighed. Evan was awful, Maya. touching me, saying inappropriate things, wouldn't let me leave the table. I tried to text you but hit the wrong number. Jin-ho saw the text and came to help. And now you're having coffee with him because I wanted to thank him properly and understand why he helped me. Maya sat down heavily in the third chair at their table. This is insane. You know that, right? Probably, Zara admitted. Minjun approached silently, placing another lavender latte in front of Maya. She looked startled. I took the liberty of ordering for your friend, Jin-ho explained. I assumed she might want the same as you. Maya eyed the drink suspiciously but didn't touch it. So what exactly do you do, mister? Park. Jin-ho Park. I manage my family's business interests, which are diverse. Zara suppressed a smile. Maya had met her match in cryptic responses. Look, Jin-ho said, I understand your concern. I'm a stranger who inserted himself into your friend's evening. But my intentions were only to help someone in an uncomfortable situation. Maya studied him, her lawyer's eyes missing nothing. You're not telling the whole truth. Few people ever do, Jin-ho replied calmly. But I mean Zara no harm. That much is absolute truth. A tense silence fell over the table. Zara looked between her best friend and the mysterious man who had rescued her from a nightmare date. Two worlds colliding in the most unexpected way. Her phone buzzed. A text from Evan. You humiliated me. Walking out with some Asian thug? I know people in this city. You'll regret this. Zara's hands trembled slightly as she showed the message to Maya, whose eyes widened. He's threatening you, Maya said, her voice tight with anger. Jin-ho noticed their expressions. Is everything okay? Zara hesitated, then turned her phone so he could see the message. Something cold flashed across Jin-ho's face. There and gone so quickly she almost missed it. May I? He asked, holding out his hand for her phone. Zara handed it over. Jin-ho read the message again, then calmly took a photo of it with his own phone before returning hers. What's his full name? He asked. Evan Whitaker, Zara replied. Why? What are you going to do? Nothing illegal, Jin-ho assured her, but his eyes had gone hard. But men who threaten women should understand there are consequences. We could go to the police, Maya suggested, finally taking a sip of her latte. With what? Zara asked. One vaguely threatening text? They'll tell me to block his number and call back if he does something real. Jin-ho was typing something on his phone. Evan Whitaker. Works at Meridian Marketing. Lives in Westfield Towers. Drives a leased BMW. Maya and Zara stared at him. How did you? Maya began. Resources. Jin-ho put his phone away. He won't contact you again, Zara. You have my word. Your word, Maya repeated, leaning forward. And why exactly should we trust your word? Who are you, really? Jin-ho met her gaze steadily. Someone who respects boundaries and believes in protection, not intimidation. Unlike Evan, Zara said quietly. Yes, Jin-ho agreed. Unlike Evan. Minjun approached their table, leaning down to murmur something in Korean to Jin-ho. Jin-ho nodded and responded in the same language, his voice low but firm. I apologize, he said, turning back to Zara and Maya. I need to take care of something. Would you allow Minjun to drive you both home? I've taken the liberty of having your car retrieved from the restaurant valet, Ms. Williams. It will be delivered to your address. How do you know which car is mine? Zara asked, a flicker of unease returning. The valet ticket was visible in your purse. Jin-ho stood. I'm not stalking you, if that's your concern. Just being thorough. Maya snorted. That's not exactly reassuring. It's fine, Zara said, surprising herself. Thank you for the offer, but Maya can take me home. Jin-ho nodded, accepting her decision without argument. He took a business card from his wallet and placed it on the table. The card was minimalist, just his name and a phone number. No company logo or title. If you need anything, he said. Anytime. Zara picked up the card, turning it over in her fingers. What if I just want to talk? A hint of surprise crossed Jin-ho's features. That would also be acceptable. Their eyes held for a moment longer than necessary. Then Jinho bowed slightly, the gesture formal yet somehow personal. Good night, Zara Williams. Maya. He left with Minjun following close behind. Through the coffee shop window, Zara watched them slide into the black car and drive away. What? Maya said as soon as they were alone. The actual hell was that? Zara sipped her latte, which had gone lukewarm. I have no idea. He's dangerous, Z. Like, actually dangerous. I know. And yet you're staring at his card like it's a winning lottery ticket. Zara tucked the card into her purse. He helped me when he had absolutely no reason to. That counts for something. Maya shook her head. Girl, you've designed some amazing things, but your taste in men is questionable at best. Says the woman who dated that performance artist who painted himself blue and howled at the moon. That was art. This is... Maya waved her hands vaguely. This is something else entirely. I know. Zara sighed. Let's go home. It's been a long night. 3 days passed with no contact from either Evan or Jinho. Zara threw herself into preparing for her upcoming fashion show, a small but significant event featuring her latest collection. The sustainable fabrics she'd sourced were finally working with her designs, draping exactly as she'd envisioned. She was at her studio, pinning a hem on her signature wrap dress, when her assistant Jaden burst in. There's a delivery for you, he announced, eyes wide. Like, a serious delivery. Just sign for it, Jay. You're gonna want to see this. Zara followed him to the front of the studio. There, filling the entire reception area, was the most extravagant flower arrangement she'd ever seen. Orchids, roses, and flowers she couldn't even name were artfully arranged in a black ceramic vessel that looked like it belonged in a museum. Who sent this? She asked, reaching for the small envelope nestled among the blooms. Inside was a card with elegant handwriting. I hope your work is going well. If you have time, I'd like to take you to dinner. Jinho Park. A phone number was written beneath his name, though Zara already had it saved in her phone. Who's Jinho Park? Jaden asked, trying to peek at the card. Someone I met recently. Someone rich, apparently. Jaden touched one of the orchids reverently. These are Quran hybrid orchids. They're like $50 per stem. Zara raised an eyebrow. How do you know that? I have depths, darling. He grinned. So, are you calling him? Zara considered the card, running her thumb over the elegant script. Yes, I think I am. That evening, Jinho picked her up from her apartment in the same black car. This time, there was no Minjun, he drove himself. He wore a less formal outfit than before. Dark jeans, a charcoal sweater that looked cashmere, and a leather jacket that probably cost more than her rent. The flowers were beautiful, Zara said as she settled into the passenger seat. She'd chosen a simple outfit. Wide-legged black pants and a rust-colored silk top she'd designed herself, paired with gold statement earrings that complemented her skin tone. But excessive. I wasn't sure if you'd call, Jinho admitted, pulling into traffic. The flowers were insurance. Against what? Being forgotten. Zara laughed. Trust me, you're not easy to forget. Jinho's mouth curved slightly. Good. Where are we going? I thought you might enjoy authentic Korean food. There's a place in my family's neighborhood that few outside the community know about. 20 minutes later, they pulled up to a nondescript building in a part of the city Zara had rarely visited. From the outside, the restaurant was unremarkable with no English signage. Inside, however, it was warm and inviting, with wood paneling and soft lighting. An elderly Korean woman hurried over, greeting Jinho with rapid Korean and a deep bow. He responded respectfully, then introduced Zara in English. The woman smiled warmly at her, taking both her hands. Welcome, welcome. Jinho's friend is our special guest tonight. They were led to a private room in the back, furnished with a low table and cushions on the floor. Jinho helped Zara sit, then took his place across from her. I hope you don't mind, he said. I've taken the liberty of asking the chef to prepare a selection of dishes. Mrs. Kim has been feeding me since I was a child. It's perfect, Zara said, looking around the cozy space. Thank you for bringing me here. The food came in waves, banchan first, small dishes of pickled vegetables, kimchi, and other appetizers. then bulgogi, bibimbap, seafood pancakes, and dishes Zara had never seen before. Jinho explained each one, showing her how to wrap the bulgogi in lettuce leaves, how to mix the bibimbap properly. "This is incredible," Zara said, savoring a bite of spicy pork. "I've had Korean food before, but nothing like this." "This is home cooking," Jinho explained. "What families eat together, not what restaurants typically serve to outsiders." "Thank you for sharing it with me." Jinho watched her eat with evident pleasure. "You're adventurous. Many people stick to what they know." "My dad's a chef," Zara explained. "He taught me that food is how we learn about other cultures. He specializes in Caribbean cuisine. My grandparents are from Jamaica, but he loves exploring other food traditions. I'd like to try his cooking someday," Jinho said, the statement hanging between them like a promise. As they ate, Jinho asked about her work, listening intently as she described her upcoming fashion show. "Sustainable fashion is challenging," she explained. "Finding materials that meet ethical standards but still drape and move the way I want. And designing for all body types adds another layer of complexity." "Why is that important to you?" "Everyone deserves to feel beautiful," Zara said simply. "Fashion has excluded too many people for too long. Larger bodies, disabled bodies, people who don't fit conventional beauty standards. I want my designs to celebrate diversity." Jinho nodded. "That's admirable. What about you?" Zara asked. "What's important in your work?" Jinho was quiet for a moment. "Legacy, protection, taking care of those who depend on me." "That's not very specific." "No," he agreed. "It's not." Zara set down her chopsticks. "I appreciate the mysterious aura, Jinho, but if we're going to... whatever this is, I need more than vague answers." Jinho studied her face. "You're right." He took a sip of his tea. "My grandfather came to this country with nothing after the Korean War. He worked as a dishwasher, saved every penny, and eventually opened a small grocery store. That store became 2, then 5. He expanded into restaurants, then import-export businesses. Sounds like the American dream." "Parts of it were." Jinho's expression grew more serious. "But in those days, Korean immigrants weren't protected by police or the legal system. We faced discrimination, violence, theft. So my grandfather created his own protection network. Other Korean business owners paid for security, for conflict resolution, for loans when banks wouldn't lend to them." Understanding dawned on Zara's face. A community support system that operated outside the law. "Exactly. By the time my father took over, the organization had grown. Some of our businesses are entirely legitimate, the restaurants, the hotels, the shipping company. Others operate in what you might call gray areas." "Like what?" Jinho hesitated. "We provide protection. We settle disputes. We facilitate certain imports that might face excessive taxation or regulation." "Smuggling." A harsh word, but not entirely inaccurate. Zara absorbed this. "And what's your role?" "I'm transitioning many of our enterprises into fully legitimate businesses. The world is different now than in my grandfather's time. We don't need to operate in shadows anymore." "But you still do." "Some aspects, yes." Jinho leaned forward. "I won't lie to you, Zara. My family's history includes violence, includes activities that are technically illegal. I've participated in those activities. But I'm working to change our direction while maintaining our core values, protecting our community, supporting our people." Zara was silent for a long moment. "Thank you for being honest. Does it frighten you?" "Should it?" Jinho smiled slightly. "Most people would be running for the door by now." "I'm not most people." "No," he agreed. "You're not." As they continued talking, Zara found herself drawn to Jinho in ways that went beyond his striking appearance or the thrill of danger. He was thoughtful, intelligent, and surprisingly funny in a dry, understated way. He asked questions about her design process, her family, her dreams for her label, and actually listened to her answers. After dinner, they walked through the neighborhood, Jinho pointing out businesses his family had helped establish. Older Korean shop owners greeted him with deep respect, often reaching out to touch his arm or press small gifts into his hands. "They love you," Zara observed. "They knew me as a child. Jin-ho said. Watched me grow up. In Korean culture, there's a sense of collective responsibility for raising children. These people helped shape who I am. And who is that, exactly? Zara asked, looking up at him as they paused under a streetlight. Jin-ho turned to face her, his expression open in a way it hadn't been before. Someone trying to honor his heritage while building something better. Someone who saw a woman in trouble and wanted to help. He took a step closer. Someone who hasn't stopped thinking about you since that night. Zara's heart beat faster. That's good to know, because I've been thinking about you too. Jin-ho reached up slowly, giving her time to move away, and touched her cheek with gentle fingers. May I kiss you, Zara Williams? Yes, she whispered. His lips were soft against hers, the kiss respectful yet filled with restrained passion. Zara found herself leaning into him, her hands coming up to rest on his chest. When they pulled apart, they were both breathing a little faster. I should take you home, Jin-ho said, his voice rougher than before. Probably a good idea, Zara agreed. 2 weeks later, Zara was rushing around her studio, making final adjustments for her fashion show that evening. Models were being fitted, makeup artists were setting up, and Jaden was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. The lighting designer is saying we need more power than the venue has available, he wailed. And one of the models just called in sick with food poisoning. Call Amara, Zara said, pinning a sleeve. She can fill in. And tell the lighting designer to work with what we have. We'll adapt. Her phone buzzed with a text from Jin-ho. Everything ready for tonight? Over the past 2 weeks, they'd seen each other almost every day. Jin-ho had taken her to art exhibits, to a Korean film festival, to dinner at restaurants where the owners treated him like royalty. She'd invited him to her apartment, cooked him her father's famous jerk chicken, shown him her design sketches. They'd kissed a lot, but hadn't gone further, both sensing that whatever was growing between them deserved time. Chaos as usual, she texted back. But we'll manage. Need anything? Zara was about to reply when Jaden appeared again, looking stricken. The venue just called. Their air conditioning system failed. In September, it's going to be 90 degrees in there. What? No, that's impossible. The models will be sweating. The makeup will melt. The guests will leave. They're working on it, but can't guarantee a fix before the show. Zara closed her eyes, trying not to panic. 3 months of work, her entire new collection, potential buyers and press all coming. It couldn't fall apart now. Her phone buzzed again. Jin-ho, what's wrong? I can feel your stress from here. She explained the situation quickly. 3 dots appeared as he typed. Then, give me 30 minutes. Exactly 28 minutes later, Zara's phone rang. The venue will have air conditioning, Jin-ho said without preamble. A crew is installing temporary units now. They'll be done 2 hours before your show. How did you? The building owner is an associate. Don't worry about the cost. Jin-ho, I can't accept. It's not a gift, it's an investment, he interrupted. I believe in your work. This is what partners do. Support each other's dreams. Partners. The word sent a warm flutter through Zara's chest. Thank you, she said softly. I'll see you tonight. The fashion show was a triumph. The temporary air conditioning worked perfectly. The models showcased Zara's designs beautifully, the sustainable fabrics flowing and draping exactly as she'd envisioned. Buyers from 3 major department stores left their cards, and a fashion blogger with over 1 million followers called her collection revolutionary. Through it all, Jin-ho sat in the front row, his eyes following Zara whenever she appeared. When she took her final bow, his applause was the loudest. At the after-party, he stayed by her side, silent but supportive as she networked with buyers and press. Only when things quieted down did he lead her to a quiet corner, a glass of champagne in hand. To extraordinary success, he said, touching his glass to hers. I couldn't have done it without you. Yes, you could have. You would have found a way. That's who you are. Jin-ho's eyes were warm with admiration. But I'm glad I could help make it easier. My parents want to meet you, Zara blurted out. They're having Sunday dinner next week. Would you come? Jin-ho's expression softened. I'd be honored. My dad will interrogate you, and my mom will pretend not to, but she totally will. I look forward to it. He paused. My family would like to meet you too. My sister especially. The one you mentioned before? Yes, Sumin. She says I smile more now. Do you? Apparently. Sunday dinner at the Williams household was exactly as chaotic and warm as Jinho had expected. Zara's father, Marcus, was indeed a chef, and the food was extraordinary. A fusion of Jamaican and Southern American cuisine that had Jinho going back for seconds. Her mother, Denise, was a retired professor who asked pointed but kind questions about Jinho's background and intentions. Her younger brother, Jamal, was a tech entrepreneur who was fascinated by Jinho's business insights. So, Marcus said as they enjoyed his homemade rum cake for dessert, Zara tells us you run your family's businesses. Yes, sir. And these businesses are? Jinho met his gaze steadily. Diverse. Restaurants, hotels, import-export, security services. Marcus exchanged a look with Denise. And how did you meet our daughter again? He helped me when I was in a difficult situation, Zara interjected. I'd like to hear it from him, Marcus said, his tone gentle but firm. Jinho set down his fork. Zara accidentally texted me when she was on a date with someone who was making her uncomfortable. I went to the restaurant and helped her leave safely. Just like that? You dropped everything for a stranger. Yes, sir. Why? Jinho glanced at Zara, then back to her father. Because my sister once needed help and didn't get it in time. I don't let that happen to anyone if I can prevent it. Marcus studied him for a long moment, then nodded. Good answer. Later, as Zara walked Jinho to his car, she squeezed his hand. They liked you. Your father reserved judgment. That's his highest form of approval for anyone I date. Jinho leaned against his car, pulling Zara gently into his arms. Is that what we're doing? Dating? What would you call it? The beginning of something significant. He tucked a curl behind her ear. Something permanent if you want it to be. Zara's breath caught. That's a big statement after a few weeks. I'm not a man who wastes time once I'm certain. His eyes searched hers. But I can be patient if you need me to be. I don't want you to be patient, Zara admitted. I just want to be sure this is real. That we're not just caught up in how we met, in the drama of it all. Then let me prove it's real. Jinho kissed her softly. Day by day, meeting Jinho's family was more formal than dinner with hers had been. His parents lived in a stunning modern house in the most exclusive neighborhood in the city. His father, Sung-ho Park, was imposing and reserved, though polite. His mother, Myung, was gracious but watchful, her English perfect but formal. Jinho's sister, Sumin, was the surprise warm, outspoken, and clearly adoring of her brother. She pulled Zara aside while Jinho spoke with his father. He's different with you, Sumin said, her voice low. Lighter. I haven't seen him like this. Maybe ever. I'm not sure what I did, Zara admitted. You see him. Not just what he can do, what he can provide. You see him. Sumin touched Zara's arm. Thank you for that. As autumn turned to winter, Zara and Jinho's relationship deepened. He helped her secure a proper studio space when her business expanded after the successful show. She helped him navigate the launch of a legitimate investment firm, lending her eye for design to the company's branding. They learned each other's habits, preferences, histories. Jinho taught Zara basic Korean phrases. She introduced him to her favorite jazz clubs. He was always careful to respect her independence, never presuming to make decisions for her. She came to understand the complex code of honor that guided his actions, even those that existed outside conventional law. One snowy evening in December, they were walking through the park when Zara spotted a familiar figure ahead, Evan. Her disastrous date from months ago. She tensed, but he took one look at Jinho and quickly walked in the opposite direction. What did you do to him? Zara asked. That night after the restaurant. Jinho was quiet for a moment. I showed him evidence of certain indiscretions in his professional life. Suggested that those might come to light if he ever contacted you again. You blackmailed him. I protected what's important to me. Jinho turned to face her, snowflakes catching in his dark hair. I won't apologize for that, but I promise you, I didn't harm him physically. Zara considered this. I appreciate the restraint. It was for you, Jinho admitted. The old me would have handled it differently. They walked in silence for a few minutes, the snow crunching beneath their boots. I love you, Zara said suddenly, the words visible in the cold air. I think I have for a while now. Jinho stopped walking, his expression transforming with joy. Say it again. I love you, Jinho Park. Wrong number and all. He pulled her into his arms, his kiss tender and fierce all at once. I love you, Zara Williams. I have since the moment you were brave enough to text a stranger for help. 6 months to the day after that fateful text message, Jinho took Zara back to Astoria, the restaurant where they'd first met. The maitre d' led them to a private dining room adorned with candles and orchids, the same Korean hybrid orchids he'd sent to her studio. This is beautiful, Zara said, taking in the romantic setting. Jinho seemed unusually nervous, adjusting his tie, checking his pocket multiple times. They ate a sumptuous meal, reminiscing about how they met, laughing at how Maya had initially been convinced Jinho was going to kidnap Zara. She likes me now, though, Jinho pointed out. Only because you helped her win that impossible case against that developer. I merely provided some relevant information. Zara smiled. Information nobody else could access. As dessert arrived, Jinho reached across the table and took her hand. These past 6 months have been the happiest of my life. Mine too. I've been thinking about wrong numbers, about fate, about how one mistake led me to the most important person in my world. He stood and, to Zara's shock, knelt beside her chair. I don't want to waste another day without knowing you'll be by my side forever. From his pocket, he produced a ring, a stunning black diamond set in platinum, unconventional and perfect. Zara Williams, will you marry me? Tears filled Zara's eyes. Yes, she whispered. Yes, I will. As he slid the ring onto her finger, Jinho smiled, a full, unreserved smile that transformed his face. I'm yours, he said softly. All of me. The good, the complicated, the parts I'm still working on. Everything. And I'm yours? Zara replied, pulling him up for a kiss. Wrong number and all. 1 year later, they were married in a ceremony that blended Korean and Jamaican traditions. Jinho wore a modern interpretation of traditional Korean formal wear. Zara designed her own dress, incorporating fabric patterns from both cultures. They wrote their vows in both English and Korean. At the reception, Maya gave a toast that had everyone laughing. To wrong numbers and scary dates, sometimes the universe knows what it's doing. Jinho's sister Sumin embraced Zara, whispering, You saved him from himself. Our family will always be grateful. As they danced their first dance as husband and wife, Jinho held Zara close. Do you remember what you texted that night? He asked. This date is a disaster? You said you were at Astoria on 5th and needed an excuse to leave. And I wrote back, I'm not Maya. Who's making you uncomfortable? I'm coming to get you, Zara finished. Best wrong number ever. Jinho kissed her softly. I'm still coming to get you. Anytime, anywhere. Always. And as they danced under the lights, surrounded by their merged families and cultures, Zara thought about how sometimes the worst nights led to the best things. How sometimes you texted a wrong number and found exactly the right person.